I'd like to refer to my report if I could.
Yes. And that's, remind me what number that is.
That is States 108. Okay. Bag number 5 contained a right arm and a left foot.
And what did you discover in the 6th garbage bag?
Bag number 6 contained the rest of the right leg.
And the 7th garbage bag?
Number 7 contained Emily's torso.
And the 8th garbage bag?
Left arm and right foot.
And did you also collect swabs from the remains found in these bags?
From the remains, no. A DNA card was collected to have a sample of Emily's DNA, but the handles of the bags had been swabbed on scene on the 19th.
Okay, I was referring to the DNA card. Can you tell the jury what that means?
Sure. During autopsy, because it's always standard protocol to have a DNA sample of a victim or a decedent on file, so a blood sample is taken, a drop of blood is placed onto a card, and that's called a DNA card.
Okay. And was that DNA card labeled as item 15? Are you able to, is it a new card?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And was that sent to the Vermont Forensic Lab for testing?
Yes, it was.
When you were examining the remains, did anything about a particular area of the body surprise you given what you knew about the investigation?
Yes.
What caught your attention or what surprised you?
Dr. Shapiro actually drew my attention when he was examining Emily's torso.
Okay. And so did you look for yourself to see what had caught his attention?
I did.
And what about the body did you observe?
Several stab wounds in Emily's torso.
Okay. And what were the sort of approximate location of these stab wounds?
Mostly upper chest. One particularly which would have probably entered her heart.
And any on the back side of her torso?
I believe there were a few on the back as well.
And so did learning of this additional information during the autopsy lead you to search for anything additional in the van?
Yes, so because I was at the autopsy, my partner, Aaron McNeil, had shown up in the later evening on the 19th. So on the 20th, because I was going to the autopsy, he was sort of overseeing we thought we were wrapping up processing, but learning this information during autopsy, the focus then became collecting all knives found in the van, excuse me.
Okay, and so did you have Aaron McNeil go into the van and collect those knives?
He was still working in the van that following day, so we just sort of said, okay, we're now need to focus on any knives found.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
You ready?
Good afternoon, Detective. Push it, step out of your way. Just push it out, it's fine. Just a few follow-up questions. For clarification, you attended the autopsy as an observer, correct?
As an evidence collector.
Okay, but you didn't really have any part of conducting the actual examination, correct?
Correct.
And just a few questions back to the Maple Fields encounter. The afternoon, excuse me, of October 19th, 2021. You already testified that when you were walking with Mr. Ferlazzo to your vehicle, you had observed him seeming as if he might pass out, and you asked to put your hand on him.
Correct.
Do you recall testifying in a deposition on November 11th, 2022? No, sorry, November 29th, 2022.
I recall testifying in a depo, yes.
Okay. In the deposition, you also described him at that particular point as he looked woozy. Do you recall that?
That would be accurate.
Okay. And you also described him as wobbling as he was walking. Do you recall that?
Yeah, that would be accurate as well.
Okay. And also in the deposition, you described him as looking pale and pasty. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. As you were walking with Mr. Ferlazzo to your truck, did you ever tell him he was free to leave?
No.
Okay. But he was essentially in custody, correct?
No, not at that point.
So if Mr. Ferlazzo had tried to walk away at that point, though, you probably wouldn't have allowed it, correct?
I would not have allowed it.
Okay. I'm just briefly, when you arrived at the St. Albans Vermont State Police Department, Vermont State Police Barracks, there was not an interview room available at that time, correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Ferlazzo had to stand, everyone was standing and waiting in the hallway until the interview room cleared out, correct?
There were 3 of us with Mr. Ferlazzo at that time in a hallway, correct.
Okay. And you had stated in your report, as well as your deposition, that you offered Mr. Ferlazzo a chair as well as some water because, as you stated, he appeared physically exhausted and barely able to stand. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was leaning against the wall.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. George.
No redirect, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
May we approach, Judge?
Come on up.